So I'm doing it off a new computer. So I'm just hoping that it's all going out into the right place. It's all going out into the right place. Okay. It looks like it, yeah. And we'll add the others as they come along, if they come on. Right. Well, welcome to the D&K Reposs Non League show, and we are here, of course, for our season-ending show. And of course, joining me as ever is, of course, in the top left-hand corner is Gloria McMahon's favourite child. And of course, there he is, there, Keith. And of course, we should say a happy birthday, of course, to Keith's sister Lisa as well. She's probably comatose as we speak and doesn't even know we're on the show anyway. But we will let her know that we wish her a birthday. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Normal day for my sister. So, yeah, no, all good, enjoying the weather.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely. And of course, at the very, very bottom, we've got, of course, we're very proudly to say that we, of course, our sponsors are, of course, Reposs, and of course, it's Paul Lansdale, who, of course, and the link between Paul Lansdale and, of course, Harry, of course, who's Paul Lansdale, is the chairman of Harry's side down at Sevenoaks. And Harry, a massive welcome to you.
Thank you, and thank you for having me on the show.
No worries, mate. And how are you?
Yeah, likewise with Keith. The sun's out, so getting the pins out, the sun's makes everyone's mood improve. So, yeah, enjoying a little bit of a break. I like with anything, player recruitment and stuff never really stops. But yeah, sun's out and I'm enjoying myself, so can't complain too much.
Well, we were talking off air just a minute ago, and I know sort of non-league Maps watches the show and so forth, but we were actually talking about, before we go into Sevenoaks and Harry, different places, and there's two different projections of wherever we might be this time next year and so forth. And I must say to the guys at Non-League Maps do a fantastic job, but this, out of the two that he's got posted on there, this is the one that I like the most, and I know he's told me that this is possibly not going to be the one that it's going to be, but it doesn't actually give me what sort of the actual divisions are, if it's Isthmian North or South Central. But we were fascinated with sort of the North Division, I suppose, with AFC Sudbury, Biggleswade Town, Bury, Cambridge City, Coggeshall, Dereham, Felixstowe, Gorleston, Heybridge, Kempston, Lowestoft, Morden and Tiptree, Spalding, St Neots, Stamford, Stowmarket, Whittam, Wroxham and Yaxley. And of course, the one that Harry would be interested in, which is Ashford United, Basildon United, Beckenham, Brentwood, Chatham, Corinthian, Cray Valley, East Thurrock, Faversham, Grays Athletic, Great Wakering, United, Holbridge Sports, Hive, Ramsgate, Sevenoaks, Sheppey, Sittingbourne, Tilbury and VCD. Likelihoods of those happening, would you be happy with that, Harry, if that was your division to start with? And what do we think about those sort of projections? Do we think they're actually going to be how it's going to end up, or too many changes?
I really don't know. I didn't know that. I knew there was going to be some movement. I didn't anticipate that much, if that is what comes through. Quite a lot to digest to try and see if I whether I prefer that or to what our current division is. But yeah, I suppose I'm torn a little bit. Like I know the sides that we've been around for in the Southeast the last 4 or 5 years. So there's a benefit in some regards to having teams that you know in the style and players. And the unknown is something that you obviously take a bit more planning for. But then there's some big clubs that would have been moved out, clubs that I respect, that I know are good size. So yeah, I think it would be probably 6 one, half dozen the other. But yeah, it'd be quite a large shift if the FA do go with that, which don't know necessarily they will.
Yeah, I think if you drew a line across the country, that division makes sense. I remember when we was at VCD and Thamesmead, we were both in the north, and we travelled across. But obviously now there's going to be a lot of travelling. If you're Ramsgate and you've got to go to Basildon, that's a journey and a half. But I suppose Ramsgate to Chichester was as well. So all you're moving across is obviously all the sides from Sussex, your Three Bridges, your East Greensteads. Now it would be Mersham, Leatherhead, and all that. So there's quite a lot of sides down that way now, and they maybe do need to be moved to the southern or the central. So it does make a little bit of sense. And as you read out the north one with now Wroxham and all that back in, it does. You can't please everybody, but I would say that league would be very, very good and very strong. You start, the South East was decent last year, and I knew the North was as well, but you start putting, your Graves and all that in it as well. It makes it a real exciting league. And yeah, a little bit of travelling, either getting through the tunnel and over the bridge. But it's quite exciting either way.
So when do these changes come in? Do they come in? They must come in before sort of like the discussions are going to be going on almost immediately, I would have thought. But because, I know that the Southern League's AGM's June the 11th. So, I'm assuming before that sort of second week in June, I'm not sure when the Isthmian one is or the Northern League's one is, there's got to be some kind of a list sent out to the clubs before then.
Yeah, I think that the FA all sit, the National League all sit together and they work out the best. And obviously, teams have still got to accept promotion or whatever. If there's any appeals, Dave, what all that's about still. And then I think, I think if I'm right, it is towards the end of May. That's what it's been the last few years, where it comes out just, the leagues that are suggested. They won't get, obviously, confirmed until all the league's AGMs, and then they get voted in. So you're talking now, what we're talking, the 9th, 10th of May, you're talking 2 weeks' time maybe. So you'll get a rough idea then. Comes around quick.
So we're just trying to get through to Craig. So I'm sending it to every single phone that he's got. And
well, I'd send it to any bar around Hornchurch. You might get him.
He's there. He's definitely.
And I don't mean because they beat Hornchurch. I mean because that's where if anyone doesn't know, that's where Craig's wine bar is. Oh, so as any Hornchurch fans, I've just let them know they go down there.
Yeah. But I mean, Harry, with that though, looking into next year, what a fantastic job you've done. You did it down at Sevenoaks, when coming in, sort of later on in the season and really sort of turned the fortunes around and moved, with some great results.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a bit of a whirlwind, to be fair. I think it's only 10 games. It felt like about 110. But yeah, the boys were brilliant since we went in. Managed to recruit a few, and yeah, they just can't speak high enough for the players of how they just kind of hit the ground running, and the spirit that they had and the culture that we created just meant that we kind of found a way to win football games in a multitude of different ways. And yeah, it was very enjoyable. The relief after the Hive game when we were mathematically safe was one of the highest points I've had in management to date. And yeah, looking now, that's kind of task one completed. It's now looking forward rather than behind our shoulders, as it was for the first 4 or 5 games. So yeah, quite enjoying and looking forward to the next season, certainly.
What attracted you to Sevenoaks, Harry? Because obviously I know you was at Glebe and you was doing a good job there and still had a chance at promotion. And and also what was said to you by Paul and that when you took over from Mick?
So logistically, for where I live, there's not like a ton of clubs that I have quite a busy. I'm sure everyone does, but I'm not. I wasn't someone who's going to be willing to travel a long way in non-league. So logistically, I've got a pretty smallish circle of clubs that I'll be in, that will work for me. The pitch has always been a huge draw, just with the style of play that I like to try and implement. The pitch was always, I think, at Sevenoaks, the pitch has always been top draw. That is so well looked after. So that was a massive draw. And yeah, I think it was the right time. Although when people went into it and questioned the timing, for me, it was the right time for for me to take up the challenge. And yeah, I've always been an admirer of how Sevenoaks is run as a football club, and the resource they have and the plans they have and how well ran the club is. There's a lot to be said for that in my experience. And yeah, that was certainly something that was attractive to me. But in terms of what Paul said, it wasn't a case of you've got to stay up, or he just said, do your best and see where we end up. And again, that's credit to Paul and the board of how supportive they are as people. They didn't put any undue pressure on the management team or the players. They just kind of obviously wanted to stay up, but just gave us every tool and resource we could have asked for. And thankfully we repaid them.
Well, we're having issues with Craig and Dean. They're saying it's the wrong email address, so the wrong code to get in. So I'm sort of desperately trying to do that. So I'll leave you in Keith's hands just for the minute, just while I'm trying to sort it out.
No pressure.
So so obviously just going on further now. What sort of pressure is it when you take over a team that's towards the bottom of the league and obviously struggling a little bit with confidence, etc.?
I hadn't known it, if I'm honest, Keith. It was the first job I've taken. I've never taken a job midway through a season before, and I've never found myself, thankfully, touch wood, in a position where we've been in a relegation scrap from the teams I've taken from the start of the season. So it was totally new to me, which is a good thing. I think now looking back, like, to put yourself out of your comfort zone and throw myself and the management team into a very different situation. And I think the pressure that we had was what we put on ourselves, which is that we wanted to get results as quickly as possible. It helped that we could recruit. I think I brought in 9 players in a week, from taking over on a Sunday to the following Saturday. And a lot of those players have been with me before and knew exactly what I wanted, both on and off the pitch, which I think is, looking back now, the key part that we managed to get right is the changing room, is the dressing room, is the culture that the boys had and the spirit that they had. And often that takes quite a long time to create. And so, again, credit to the guys that we managed to falsify that to a point where it became natural after only a couple of weeks. The flip side to that was, obviously, there was some players there that had left before I'd even had a chance to speak to them. There was some that maybe stayed for a couple of sessions, 1 or 2 sessions, and then moved on as well. So it was a very quick turnaround. But like any of the players that stayed, hopefully feel like they had a fair crack of it, and those that decided to move before, like, the best of luck to them, and we could only start looking at what we had. And so thankfully that came together really well.
Obviously with the players that you knew brought it, was that a major sort of bonus? Because, like I say, if you had to go in there not knowing many of the lads, and things like that, and had to try and look elsewhere if they were tied down, as you said, for me personally as well, I went into a club for the first time that was, before pre-season and whatever, and it's not as easy as you can build your own team, your own spirit, but obviously if you've got a lot of people, as you said, that you knew that you brought with you, do you think it might have been a little bit more harder not having that?
Oh, definitely. And I think some of the managers that came into roles like 2 or 3 weeks after me, that's so much more challenging as well, because the deadline for the window was shutting. Everyone seemed to have a bit of a scramble. Like Whitehawk changed, and I think Whitstable changed, and one or two others, then it kind of became a bit of a mad rush. And thankfully, we got in a couple of weeks before that. But it was still an interesting challenge with the 7-day rule, and that process, is challenging. And people can make it more challenging if they want to make it more challenging. So, there was some changes there, but we managed to get enough over the line that got us to what we needed to have. So we're definitely would have been much harder if we couldn't bring players in, and certainly harder if we had less time to do so.
Well, as you can see, Harry, just to your right hand side, or maybe to your left hand side, as I can look at it, the maestro is there, and they're not the maestro of technology, I tell you that. And he's joined us. We'll be with you in a sec, Craig. We're just talking to Harry from 7 days. But so I mean, Harry, I mean, what is the? I'm not sure if Keith's actually asked you the question, but I mean, what is the scenario for next year? Is it playoffs? Is it promotion?
To be as successful as we can be. We finish the season with title-winning form somehow. So if we can replicate that, then then we would expect to have a successful season. But I think that Sevenoaks is at a stage now where it's, I think, ready to really kick on as a football club. The youth section, the work that Paul and the board do within the community with the walking football, additional needs football, girls football, it's phenomenal. So and with the new plans for the build of the clubhouse and the change rooms, like, we're in a position where the club can really kick on. So I've always been very ambitious. I want to do as well as we can do. I think that the resources and the structure is in place for us to have a successful season. So that'll be our target, to win as many football games as we can, and we'll see where that takes us.
Just going on the beaten track of Sevenoaks a little bit, just some people that don't know. Obviously, we didn't have you on. You was the manager of Whiteleaf. Tell us how that ended there. Obviously, not with you, the manager, but was that a big shock to you?
I was aware of things quite a long way before the announcement came about the club kind of withdrawing from the Isthmian. So it wasn't a shock, no. It's a horrendous shame that a community asset such as Whiteleaf or any of the non-league football clubs are out there was lost, because ultimately they are massive, have a whole massive community benefit, and when they are lost from a community, it's a terrible thing. So yeah, real shame. I spent 3 years, not full ones, but really good seasons there. Would have been my fourth, but because of COVID. So it was a real shame to see the club's demise. But on the flip side, the AFC Whiteleaf, I think they're going to be promoted, and I think they're trying to get to step 6, a big jump. So and I know the guys, the supporters are unbelievable. Whiteleaf, they're a fantastic bunch, and I'm sure that club will get back up towards hopefully step 4 in the coming years, and be on a level playing field where they can actually not have to worry about other things in the background. So yeah, really glad that's happened for them. But yeah, it's really poor that it got to the stage which it did.
How did it get there? Because like I said, because I know all the youth teams were still playing as Whiteleaf this year, though, weren't they? But why couldn't the first team play there?
All I could say is that my charity used Whiteleaf's ground, or Church Road, should we say. The juniors continue to use Church Road, and they managed to find amenable and amicable grounds with the new leaseholder. But the management, the first team couldn't, or the board that managed the football club couldn't. So take of that what you will, I suppose. But I know there was some stuff that's still ongoing between the old management of the football club and the new landlords.
I think everybody was completely shocked. I don't know about you, Keith. I mean, I don't think anybody saw it coming either. That was a shock when the statement was put out on, during the season or beginning of the season. Yeah,
there was. I mean, it was up for auction at Christmas, the ground, for administrators, and that had been ongoing for about 6 months, and it got to the point where it was then taken to auction. So I think because I was there and aware, like, day to day as well, I was aware of the situation. But yeah, there was definitely, it wasn't a shock to people involved in the club, and I think that again showed there probably was some time to be able to find a solution which wasn't the demise of the football club.
So I mean, with Sevenoaks, though, Harry, I mean, what was the first game you took over?
Corinthian away.
1-1.
1-1. 90th minute deflected goal from them from a free kick. But they deserved the point. It was a horrendous game of football, to be honest. Just looking at the results from there. I mean, you've had as you said, a real sort of like almost promotion run, isn't it? I mean, 1-1, 3-1 win, then lost to Chichester 1-0, then 4-1 win at VCD against VCD, 1-0 against Whitehall, 3-1 against Faversham, 3-0 against Cray Valley, 1-0 against Hive, 4-0 against Sitting Bull, and then 2-1 against the champions at their place in Hastings. I mean, what was that like? The last game of the season there? Yeah, it was an enjoyable game. They went full strength, which I didn't expect them to, because they rested the 3 games before, and they actually set off against us and gave us the ball, gave us a respect of that, which was a new challenge for us as well. It was a bit of a game of chess, to be fair, but they equalised from an underhit back pass, and I didn't really feel under pressure in the game. It was a nip and tuck match, but we scored two good goals on the day, and they had capitalised on a mistake. But Yeah, it was a full-blooded game, to be fair, and yeah, there wasn't as many there as there has been. I think there was about 1,200 fans, but it's definitely not an easy place to go, Hastings.
Would you agree with
I've
that?
got to say, Dave. Yeah, no, it's not. I've got to say, Dave. Craig, are you walking around the town of Cheshunt with the trophy still? You haven't sat down. I said, are you walking around Cheshunt Town Centre with the trophy in your hand?
After work. Or you having a little chat? I'm just doing a bit of housework.
What are you doing? Polishing the trophy?
Polishing something.
There, I don't blame you.
I'm sorry, I'm with you now. Fully concentrated.
Well, listen, first things first, I know we talked about it as well, but look, congratulations. Me and Dave was obviously texting through the week, and we both had you down as that we fancied you winning it, and that was before the first game. So, but just tell us, before we go to the final, when I know Dean's just coming on as well now, tell us your semi-final game, because I think nearly every playoff game in all divisions was unbelievable. Yeah, I went and watched Herne play Hayward Heath, and that was a spectacle on and off the pitch. But your game as well was just unbelievable.
Yeah, it was. I think it's 2,500 people there. We knew it'd be a tough game. We'd beaten 1-0 the week before. It was the fourth time we played them this season. We beat them in the trophy on penalties. Then they beat us a week later. And then we beat them the week before the playoffs. But they're a very difficult side to beat. And to go over there where, I think they got a very, very good home record. We actually, when we beat them 1-0 the week before, was the first team to score against them in 13 games. So we knew that it was going to be tough. But, we've scored, against the best defensive team in the league. We've scored 4 goals in 2 games. And we've beat them on their own patch. Would have been nice for their manager to show a bit more respect and a bit more appreciation what we've done. I know this is disappointing, but I'd like to think that I would have been bigger than that if it had gone the other way. And yeah, I thought we thoroughly deserved it. I think anyone at the game, I don't think would dispute that we were the better team on the night, and we deserved the win. So, obviously in dramatic fashion, last minute goal. But, I say last minute goal, I turned around like punch in the air, and the fourth official's got 6 minutes up.
So what did you do? Punch him instead?
I've got to be honest. And then I said to him, 6, you should do 6 minutes. Where's that come from? And he said, well, actually, it's another minute on that for your celebration.
Oh, did you have a good one?
Hey?
Did you have a good celebration? You still young enough to have a little run?
Yeah. Listen, one thing I've never not known how to do is celebrate.
Yeah, I know that.
We celebrate our wins, no matter what it is. It's the bottom of the table team. It's in the FA Cup against a Essex County team or whatever. We celebrate it all the same. Because there's no better feeling in football than winning a game of football. The closest anything comes to it is scoring a goal. And I think you should celebrate it. And if you've done well, celebrate it. And so I was absolutely delighted. And then, when you looked at it on paper, going to Stortford and then Hornchurch in a week and having to win them both in 90 minutes was, I think, was an unbelievable achievement because they're 2 top sides.
But
Those
two, Craig, those 2 semi-finals, and I can ask Dean and Harry. I don't know if Harry was watching what was going on in those Premier sort of semi-finals that night. I mean, I was down at Enfield, and it was absolutely unreal. I mean, literally, that both games had goals right in the last minute of the game. To actually, for you to win your game, Hornchurch's got 2 in the last, God knows when, and it was just incredible night to, for the fans.
The scoring went the same, was both 1-0 down, both equalised, both 2-1 down, both pulled it back, and then both got a last minute winner. It was extraordinary, really. And then was over to Warren Church for the Saturday. Only disappointing thing with Saturday was the state of the pitch. It was shocking.
It did look bad on the camera, I'll be honest.
It was honestly
like a real life.
And you have to think of the people coming. And I spoke to Colin, their chairman. He said that he would soon have played it on a neutral ground. I think that would have helped a lot with the ticketing as well, because we could only have 2,000 in, and that went in no time. And the pitch, like I say, you couldn't play any football on it. And although it was a very exciting game, and I think both teams played the best you could play on that pitch, I think that it deserved a better setting. And but it was a great performance, and once again, I thought we thoroughly deserved it. I don't think anyone could argue that we deserved to win it on the day. Total difference in it was received by Mahon Church. They gave us a guard of honour, and I know a lot of their boys, and they are fit, as you see when they won the trophy last year. They are fierce competitors. They hate losing, and yet they gave us a guard of honour. Worst part about it for them, we walked up with a guard of honour, and Craig and Kelly weren't ready, so we had to go back and do it again. I don't think they were especially pleased about that. But I said that I've had my ups and downs with Stimo over the years, and he's a winner. He's a competitor. I rang it, checked him the next day and said, "I think use quality, your boys," and they, and appreciate the guard of honour, and they took it like proper men. That they lost the game, but they weren't beaten. That they're men, and and he knows Stimo. I mean, I think that's why we have clashed over the years. We're similar type of characters. Yeah. We want to win, but if you don't win, you stick your chest out and you much as it hurts. And I thought it was really big. I thought they were great.
I mean, have you been, talking to Mr. Chairman yet, and and asking him whether or not your pay is going to get doubled, whether your playing budget is going to get doubled? I mean,
well, no, I've actually got a meet. I've got a meeting with Dean in Lee next week.
Oh, and he's gone.
Yeah, I think Dean's pushed the button, isn't he?
As soon as we mention money, he's gone.
Don't worry about that.
But you've got.
Yeah, I've got a meeting with them next week, and we've got a host of things we've got to go over. And as you would, but I'm enjoying a really much needed break at the moment.
Yeah.
Has the old wine collection gone down, Craig?
Literally, it has gone down. It's gone down rapidly. But I've from yesterday I knocked the drink on the head because it's been non-stop, and I had all the family down over the weekend, all the grandkids and that, and it was absolutely fantastic because it was my birthday, by the way, and they all came down, and it was great to see them. But when they went, I thought, that's what I need. And now I'm here on my own, just completely chilling. And I'll be here for another few days. But I've already got pre-season sorted. So, most of the things, spoke to a lot of the managers about different things, spoke to a few players. So it's all on board gearing up for next year. But I've no illusions at all that it's going to be a massive, massive challenge. And not just for us, but our supporters, that I think are just incredible, and they've grown and grown and grown as the season's gone on, and the support they give us is unreal. But I think they've got to get their heads around. It's not going to be non-stop success next year. We're going to have to really fight and battle to do well in the division, because I think we was one of the smallest teams in the Isthmian League, but going up to that division is going to be an incredible challenge, and but I know the boys are all up for it. I'm up for it. The supporters are all up for it. The whole club's up for it, but it's going to be a lot. I ain't stupid enough to think it ain't going to be very, very much tougher.
Question for you, Dean. Sorry, Dave. Obviously, we spoke to you a while ago, when you brought Craig in and everyone thought that, Chestnut are going to have a great chance. And, what you've done with the club over the last few years is unbelievable for what it has been. But now, obviously, I'm not saying the celebrations are over because, I remember them. You just keep going and going. Every time you wake up, you keep remembering the referee's whistle and everyone going nuts. But are you pinching yourself thinking National South?
Oh, he must be
lost his voice still.
Hello. I didn't even know you was here, Dean. I didn't know Dean was on.
There you go.
With all the pictures. There was only one picture up who I was talking to, but I didn't know Dean was here. You all right, Mr. Chairman?
But he's on. I think he might be on mute. Oh, he's got an issue with his sound. But I mean, Craig.
Craig, I just read his lips. He said 50% pay rise and double the wages. Oh, sorry.
I mean, Craig. We're waiting for Dean to get his something there sorted so we can hear him. I mean, what is the situation though? Do you know, or is it? Or do you not say anything about pitch wise and stadium wise? Is it okay to move up to step 2?
Yeah. I don't think we've got any problems at all that way. I know they're doing some work on a pitch. I've just spoken, funny enough, to Lee, like Dean's dad. He phoned me up and we had a chat. And I know there's a lot of things ongoing. And please God, we get a bit of backing from the council to do even more.
So I suppose one question for you then, I want to just sort of wind you up and let you go with this one. I mean, we've had a personal sort of text conversation, me and Craig, and I mean, what a fantastic run you had in a certain cup competition, and what a fantastic ground you got to play your final in.
You talking to me?
Yeah.
What final? Oh, what? Potter's Bar. That's just that we've had to play the playoff final and the Arts Senior Cup final on the worst pitches we've played on all year. Potter's Bar the pitch was a disgrace. It weren't lined. It was long grass. It was divots everywhere. Lovely people, lovely setup over there. But mate, I see the Arts bloke before the game, and I said, "This is outrageous." I said, you go through the counties, Midlands played it at Villa Park, Norfolk at Norwich, Suffolk at Ipswich, Beds at Luton, Essex at Colchester, Sussex at Brighton and Hove Albion, and we play as at Potter's Bar. And that's no disrespect to Potter's Bar. And, and I said to him, if this final was Stevenage versus Watford or Stevenage versus Boreham Wood, you wouldn't be playing here tonight. So I thought it was really disrespectful because we've done unbelievably well to get there. But Hadley were 2 divisions below us, and how they got there as a step 5 side, and they were a lot better than a step 5 side. They'd beaten Royston in the semis, and they were unbeaten in, I think, 22 games, and they put up a great fight in the final. But you just couldn't play on the pitch. It was dreadful.
Harry, I mean, how would you feel with that if you got into your? I suppose yours is the Kent one. But I mean, you get through to the final and you end up finding out it's on a pitch that you play on a regular basis rather than sort of like a senior team. Would you be as cheesed off as possibly what Craig was?
Oh, definitely, especially the way we would want to try and play. And the thing is, at the end of the season, most grass pitches are non-league are going to be quite poor. That's just the nature of what they are. I mean, a lot of the Kent Cups were in either Maidstone or Chatham's ground, I think, which are both 3G, and everyone's got their own opinions on 3G, but at least it's going to be flat and it's going to run through. I watched the first half, Craig, of the final. I couldn't believe the surface. Like it was.
What, was that the Potter's Bar one?
No, the against Hornchurch.
Yeah.
Athletics. Yeah. I honestly, it was it didn't make sense. I thought I was watching like on some the colours wrong on my screen or something. It was terrible.
Well, if you walked across the pitch, I mean, I'll be honest with you, it looks a lot better from the side than it did in the middle. And I said, you know, it was just, there was like big circles where the shot put or whatever's landed, and it was grass and divots and sand. It was just awful.
Yeah, no, it was a shambles. I don't know. I wouldn't have thought that pitch would be step 3 level, wasn't it? Regardless of playing at a final.
They're so poor. But, you know, funny enough, and Dean, I don't know, is Dean on? You're mute, Dean?
Hope not.
No,
we can hear him.
Who's there?
Dean, you tell him this, Dean. When you said to you said to the Arts FA, why is it not? Because they're one of the few FAs that got their own ground, and this is a great story.
Right, yeah.
And he said, Dean said to him, well, why are you not playing the final at the county ground? And it's go on, Dean.
Well, now the Hearts County spent hundreds of thousands of pounds to put a 3G pitch on their county ground. So all the county cup finals for all the youth ages up to 18 are played at the county ground. So I said to one of the directors, why do you not play the senior cup final there? And the decision is down to the FA committee at Hearts. And he said the reason is they don't want to play the county final on a 3G pitch. And you think it's just incredible that you spend all that money and you won't host the final because it's on a 3G pitch. But look, we have written to them. It might be money. It might be they're not possibly getting the cooperation with the more senior professional clubs in the county. We don't know.
But
just so you know, Dave. Just so you know, the Kent one's at Dartford, right, if you remember.
Right, yeah. But Dean, how much money is this bloke sitting opposite you on this Zoom call costing you?
It's going up every year. No, look. To be fair to Craig, ever since he's come in, we've set a budget. The budget has been, what would you say, Craig, mid-table for the level we've been at. So every year we've been massively punching above our weight, and how he does it, I don't know. So I'm looking forward to the conversation next week.
He's gone again, by the way. He's disappearing on and off.
Thankfully,
he's going out to open another bottle of wine.
That's what it is. Yeah. Well, I mean, that must have been, not being funny. You've had 3 fantastic nights there. The final. You've also had like the semi-final and then the final. I mean, it must have been a bit of a whirlwind couple of weeks for you, mate.
It is, and do you know what? The playoffs. It's a fantastic way to go up if you win, but it's just the most awful experience to go through. The semi-final is, at the end you celebrate, especially with the 90th minute winner, but you think to yourself, I can't celebrate too much because you've got the final, and then you've got 4 or 5 days to wait, and then you've got the actual match. It's gut wrenching. It's a horrible thing. But I get butterflies thinking about it now. Even though we've won, I still get nervous thinking about the games. But no, we did it, and it was just, it was unbelievable. As Craig probably said, unreal for the club of our size.
I mean, I was watching it, and I must admit, because I had a feeling that what was going to happen on the live stream was the fact that as soon as the full-time whistle was over, it was going to get switched off. But luckily enough, it wasn't. And got to see Craig and his coaching team running on the pitch, and I don't know what the dance was, but with Hugo and it was. And
we had the presentation after it as well at the club.
Oh, happy days!
Yeah, so that was just as well we won.
Craig, a lot of people sort of say about us experienced managers that obviously, and I know Harry's a younger version. We need to move over and let the youngsters through, but no one celebrates like the old people, do they?
No. That's how we get old as well.
100%.
I mean, look at Harry. He's got nice dark hair, full head of hair. That ain't gonna last. Saying this, I'll tell you that now.
It's a lot greyer this year, I tell you.
Well, I mean, the whole day. I mean, from your point of view, Dean. I mean, talk us through the day from your sort of side of it. I mean, what was what was the butterflies like in your place, and what was it all like getting there and the full atmosphere on that day and even afterwards?
Well, going back to the semi-final, so we were at Bracknell, was it 3 years ago? We had I forget, we had Marlow in the semis, and I had this kind of thing where I'd sit in the stand for the first half, and I'll get abuse from the away fans. So in the second half, I'll go and stand behind the goal that we're attacking. So I did that in the semi, did that in the final when we got promoted last time. Bishop Stortford again, I thought, right, I'm doing the same kind of thing. I'm sitting in the stand, and again, I got a load of abuse from the away fans. Went behind the goal, and so I thought I'll do the same thing at Hornchurch. But I mean, the week before, I'd moved house, so I was busy unpacking. So I had something to take my mind off it. And over the weekend, I was liaising with Alex, the chairman, quite a lot about tickets, allocation and stuff. So I was kind of trying to keep myself busy. I've got 3 young kids to try and keep me grounded on the day. But then, once I'm in that taxi going down to the club and on the coach, the butterflies start, and you just can't think of anything else. And again, sit there at half-time, you go goal up, equalise, you miss a penalty, you get all the fans jeering in your face, you think, oh, come on, please. I won't say anything. I've got this weird superstition that I won't say anything to anyone until after the game, just as kind of karma. And thankfully, it's worked now for the last few years. But it's and at the end, I will admit, I just broke down in tears, because it's kind of the whole, for me, 10, 12 years of work have resulted where we are today. And I've always knew this day would come. I just didn't know when. And so to finally see us there, I think Craig's been the icing on the cake of what we've been building in the club. I just hope that we can keep this momentum going.
So what's the plan for next season? Is it playoffs? I mean, let's be honest. I mean, it sounds a silly thing might be to say, but no disrespect. Yes, you're probably going to be the smallest club in that division, but you've probably got, present company included in the top left-hand corner and the right-hand corner. You've probably got one of the greatest non-league managers, that has been, since I've been involved in non-league football, in your club. So you've got the Jose Mourinho, the Pep Guardiola or Klopp or whatever you want to call him of non-league football. There's
only one Craig. You can't put him. They can't lace his boots. They don't sing as well as him, Dave.
I was them 3 rolled into one.
Well, he was. Dave, I bet you Jurgen Klopp and Pep don't sing after every time they win like Craig does, and I've been on the end of a few of them, and there isn't a changing room wall big enough.
They definitely don't sing the song we sing, that's for sure.
No.
I mean, is it in that case though, Dean? I mean, what is it? Surely, I know you're an ambitious man. I know, that Craig's an ambitious man as well, and the club's ambitious. Surely it's not just survival next year, is it?
No. I mean, I'll sit down with Craig next week, but look, we've played Chelmsford, St Albans, Hemel this year, and we've beaten them all. But let's be real. I mean, I remember our first year in the Eastern Prem before we got called off, that I think you go up with rose-tinted glasses thinking, now we're going to go on, we're going to go mid-table, we're going to go on. And I think we were near the bottom half before we got called off. So look, we're realistic. I think I definitely want to stay in the league. I want to build a base then to go forward. But why not? Look, I'll speak to Craig about budget. We'll speak about players. Look, who knows? With Craig, it's great. I don't have to worry about it. He looks after the team. I can concentrate in the background. And why not? Why not? But in terms of
Go on, sorry, mate. Sorry, I'll let you finish.
No, I'll just trying to. I'm getting carried away with myself with the kind of rose-tinted glasses. But look, we've got to be realistic of where we are, where we come from, how quickly we got there, and budget. But why not? Why not?
When you brought Craig in, and obviously with the situation the club was in, did you bring him in thinking, right, I know he's going to turn this around straight away, or was it, look, he's the right man, he needs time, I know it's going to take time to get where you are now and where you want the club to be? Because obviously off the pitch you've done so much, with Chesson before Craig come in, and obviously now you've both gone, hand in hand and got to where you was. But did you sort of have a time scale where you thought, hold on, they're the goals, that's what I want, or was it like straight away, I want to get in the Ryman or Eastern Prem, and then obviously look to push on from there?
No, I think I've always had a target of being in, okay, step 3, then step 2. We always had a target of the old conference. That's obviously step 1. And again, as I say, I knew we'd get there, just not didn't know when. And when Craig come in, I heard Craig was interested. I'd heard the name Craig Edwards, and I've told this to Craig, and I never met him, I've never seen him, so I kind of did my due diligence. I got his CV sent through, and I googled Craig Edwards, and that popped his face. And I thought, oh Jesus, I don't fancy having a row with this manager. But I said to Craig, in the last 5 years, we haven't had one crossword. And that's because Craig is just a straight talking guy. Whether you like what he says or not, you respect that he's been honest with you. And he's the only manager I know who would sack a player off 1 week, he'd be short of players the next week, phone the player back up, and he'll come back and play for him. And that's the kind of the character of the man. So when he come in, he said we were bottom of step 4. I think we were about 6 points adrift, played more games. And he said, I'll save you. And next season, I'll get you promoted. And I thought, well, just get us safe for now, Craig. And true to his word, we stayed safe by a long margin in the end, got promoted the following year. And I suppose if you look at it, I just thought to myself, at some point, we will go from step 3 to step 2. I didn't think it would be almost back-to-back kind of COVID, taking account into COVID. So I knew we had the right man, and I knew that he had our backing, and he had the backing of the club, and we had the facilities to kind of, as you say, go hand in hand with him. So now I need to make sure that I back him to go forward as well.
I mean, Harry, with yourself being a younger manager, or quite a lot younger manager than
all right, Dave,
than Craig, but in experience-wise, would you sort of look at somebody like Craig and maybe even Keith and others that have been in the game for a lot longer than yourself, and when you see the success that Craig's got and sort of the magic touch that he's got, do you look at that and think, see if I can get hold of his number to get some words of advice or that sort of thing from these managers?
I haven't done so far. I think a lot of times non-league clubs are quite closed books. I think it only takes maybe often when you play against another manager where you can maybe build some kind of rapport with them pre and post match without that out of the blue. I haven't done that yet, but I know so Chevron McLean is one of my Kinetic boys, Craig. I know he speaks really highly of you. Hopefully, let me know if you're going to get rid of him in the next couple of weeks. I'll take it off your hands. But I think it's I very admire the work that the guys are doing this, and hopefully one day I can emulate that in one of the jobs that I'm at hold. But I think it's a very interesting world, non-league management. I think it's I think it often takes a positive game against another team. Doesn't mean necessarily you have to win or lose, but just a kind of a mutual respect for how they conduct themselves, and then that can often blossom into a relationship that maybe is a bit further than just those 2 encounters in the league in a season. And until you have that, I think it's maybe not the done thing to perhaps pick up the phone and ask someone's advice, but I might be wrong. I might be missing a trick there.
Craig, when was a sort of time in the season, I remember going back a few years with myself, that you sat there and thought, do you know what? This is I fancy this. We are going to get promoted. I fancy it. So I know how positive you are, and I knew for a fact when you got to the playoffs that you'd get there. Me and Dave said it, and I know you thought you would get there deep down as well. But there's always that time in the season, that little turning point, a game, or you think, do you know what? There's something special here.
Well, it's a great question, Kate, because it's. What made this season so special in a way was we were there. We were second in the league. We'd beaten Worthing away, and I thought we were flying. I thought after the Worthing game, when we beat them down there, I thought we beat them quite well, and I thought we got a really special bunch here. And the atmosphere, the team spirit, the work ethic, it was just everything was in place. Then I think we got sidetracked by the trophy. Trophy was an unbelievable run, but we beat St Albans in the fourth round 3-0 away, which was probably the best performance of the season. And then we got drawn against Stockport, which was the game I wanted, the biggest game. Wanted to play one of the ex-league sides. And I was asked a question, would would it affect our league form? And I said, not a chance. They're all fighting. We've got a big squad. They're all fighting for places, and they'll battle through. And I think we lost 5 games. We lost 4 and drew 1, and we went from 2nd to 10th. So to come back, and then after the Stockport game, we went on another amazing run, and I thought that showed unbelievable character with everyone at the club. You know, not especially the players, to go again to sort of, if you like, lose your place on the perch, this, you know, 2nd place, go all the way down to 10th, and then to have to go and do it again, go and put another run and get there again. Someone sent me the tables from the 5th of March, and we were 16 points behind Folkestone and 10 points behind Lewis. And we finished 4 points in front of Folkestone, 6 points in front of Lewis. So that's a 16 and 20 point turnaround from the beginning of March. Now, we had a few games in hand, and but in a way that was it made it even more difficult because we was playing every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So we was making points up rapidly, but it was grueling, and it was so hard. And you know, we had 20 in the squad, and we was rotating them as best we could, keeping them fresh, and they all bought into it, which is another thing which is great from them. My disappointment was that we basically had to throw the League Cup out the window, because I ain't one of these. If we go in a cup, I want to win it. I want to do it as best as we can. And we got to the quarter final, and you know, it was I forget who we played. We were having on the Saturday, but if we won, it would have meant we'd have had to play the final and the semi-final in the same week, as well as a league game. And I thought we were going to blow all this, and we basically changed the whole side for the Haringey game, quarter final game, and we only lost that 2-1 and could have easily won it. But in a way, that was a bit of a blessing, because it eased the schedule a little bit. But we still, you know, then they've gone on and won the Art Senior, and then so in between all that, to have to win basically every game, and then you get to the playoffs, and it's
the best you've ever sounded.
That's how his song goes, Dave.
Yeah. Well, Dean, while we're trying to get Craig back, I mean, that question that he said that was somebody asked him the question. Unfortunately, that was me that asked him the question when he came back and said that you know, that he wouldn't affect, and then he went on that thing. But that sort of, I suppose, the whole sort of scenario with that is I speak to Andy Lease, the manager of Enfield. I spoke to him quite a few times, and we had a full-blown conversation there, and it wasn't long after the Stockport game. And I asked him, you know, if there's going to be one danger team in this, who do you think is going to be the team that's going to come in and maybe nick it? And he said, even back then, Cheshunt. He said, with Craig in charge, with the amount of games he's got, he said Cheshunt are going to be the ones that are going to be the danger team when they come through. And we every week it was the same sort of conversation. Do you still think it's going to be Cheshunt, or is it going to be Lewis? Or, and you know, and that says Lewis and Folkestone and that were all around that sort of area. But he was still adamant that you guys were going to be the ones that were going to be the ones that were going to cause the most problems, becoming with the amount of games you've got in hand and getting on that sort of run. And it proved to be the point.
Yeah, I think when look at our cup runs this year, we are
definitely Craig.
Go on, mate. Go on, Dane.
Was that Andy said that? Sorry, I cut off. Sorry, Dane.
He did. Andy said that he thought that you were going to be that, and that was way back, you know, just after the Stockport game.
Very knowledgeable man.
And we would say.
I don't know if he's being sarcastic or not. But no, I think.
What, Craig?
I'm not.
No. When you looked at them games, because Dave, we spoke about it, and you know, I said the same as Andy as well. But you're running, Craig, as well. You did it help you had to play Lewis, Folkestone, and all the teams that were looking for that last place in there as well?
Well, it did, because I said to the boys, we either beat them or we don't deserve to go up. It's as simple as that. And that, I mean, we went out to Folkestone, they were unbeaten at home, not that long before the end of the season. and we beat them 4-0, and we were unreal that day. You know, so what I was confident going into the playoffs because with the trophy run, we've beaten Lewis, we'd beaten Stalford, we'd beaten Enfield, we'd beaten Hornchurch. I knew we had big game players that could go and, if you like, go and turn it on when it mattered at the real business end of the season. And I see, you know, no disrespect to any of some teams, but there was a lot of teams that I see, if you like, not from our division necessarily, but we think, God, they're going to win it. They're going to do this in the playoffs, or they're going to get in the playoffs, or they're going to win the league. And when it really matters is when that winning post is in view, and so many teams, they bottle it. And it's not... And our boys didn't, and I've never thought they would. That's why I knew it would be such a tough game against Hornchurch, because you've seen that they're big game team from last year. They when it really mattered, they just pulled out unbelievable performances. So I knew that would be really, really tough. So yeah, it was a bonus in a way playing them, because it was, if you like, it put it in our own hands.
What was your thoughts, though, both of you, when Rowan missed the penalty?
It's funny because the game before, I'd actually put Reece on the penalties, and he was going. And Reece takes a really good pen, and Rowan, he sort of, I said, took the pen. And Rowan had been away a week, so he'd gone on pens, but Reece didn't start in the final, so Rowan went back on the pens. But yeah, he's down the pecking order now for next season.
I think I might use that in my next job, a bit of a motivation. If you miss a pen, I'm going to shoot you. I was wondering my son missed a pen last week. I don't really do too good. Just one question for you, Craig. I know time, but Craig, people know you've had an amazing career, and you're still going to have loads left. And we've had you on the show on 2 consecutive weeks, and you've told us all your life stories. And you've won loads, and there's loads of managers out there, great ones that haven't won anything. But with this season, obviously winning the promotion, your FA Trophy run, winning your County Cup, is this the best season Craig Edwards ever had?
Yeah, without a shadow of doubt. Because of like Dina tell you, we've had so many unbelievable days. I've had seasons. I remember we went to Port Vale and drew up there with Ford United, and that was the one memory from that season. We've had so many this season. You look the game when we beat Worthing away in front of 2,500. It was absolutely unreal day with our supporters and everything else, and they helped the supporters to make great memories. And then the trophy run, and then and it was the scenes after we beat Chelmsford, and then after we beat St Albans, and then going up to Stockport where the supporters didn't stop singing to an hour after the game, and then like the Arts Senior Cup, and then the playoff semi-final, and then the final. It was just so many. You look back on your good seasons and you think, oh, we won that final, or when we won the league. I remember what a day we had when we won it with Billericay at Margate. But they're sort of like one memory days. You got about 8 or 9 incredible days. And I'll be honest with you, the one thing I was thinking going into the playoffs, can we have 2 more? I mean, is it being greedy? Is it being unrealistic? Is their luck going to run out? But we just had an unbelievable season. But that's what I've said. That the biggest thing is gearing up to people that it might not be like that next year. It's going to be very, very tough. Sorry, but what?
Just coming in there, Craig. I always remember after. Well, you've been in 5 years at the club. We used to be in the bar after a game. I used to have to listen to Craig go, well, when I was at Ford United, when we got one of the league with Billericay, when I did, I think, Craig, when are you going to say you don't with Chesant? And yeah, this year's been about 8.
You've had it all.
8 times we've had it all, yeah. Yeah, it's been fantastic.
I mean,
but that's the other thing that's what's made it such a great memory. And, you know, a lot of these clubs I mentioned have had great support. You know, Dulwich and Chelmsford and these clubs, but the support there and the togetherness of the club, not just the players, not just the staff, not just Dean and the directors and his dad and his family, but the supporters are unreal. And Dean, you know, I mean, he'll tell you, I've never been at a club where there is a togetherness that there is at Cheshunt. And obviously it helps when you're successful and things are going well. But, you know, that's what's really, I think, made the memory special.
Well, that's another grand on the budget you've got. Well, I mean, Harry, you listen to these guys talking, and you know, with a massive success that they've had this year, does that sort of make you even more sort of determined for you to have that type of success with Sevenoaks in next season?
I think it's great. Like, it's amazing to hear what the season that Craig's had. But I've always been incredibly driven personally for success. So I think, like, if you're probably in the wrong game, if you're not incredibly ambitious and like Craig said at the start about like celebrating a goal or celebrating a win, like it is the best thing that you have on a week. Like if you're good performance on a Saturday, your weekend's made. If you're absolutely terrible on a Saturday, it's the end of the go home and kick the dog and missus don't like you and everything. Like it is your life. That's what we don't do it for any other reason. This is my 7th year in management. So although I'm relatively young in ages, I've been doing it for a while now, and you just simply wouldn't do it if you don't have the passion and drive to be successful. And if you do, then you're probably not going to be very good at it if you don't have that intrinsically within you. So I hope to emulate what Craig's done. I'd love to win more things than I have done so far. But I think
Harry, I'll give you a little advice. If you can do what Craig's done and you're still alive, then you're going to be some sort of human being, because what he's done is unbelievable.
Do you know, funny enough, I heard Stevie Gerrard, when I asked him, would you need to be a manager thing? He said, you need to be obsessed. And I thought, that's probably right, you know.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, as you know, Dean, and people say, when you talk to Craig, and if anyone knows Craig, and someone's just sent me a message and saying, look, they don't know you, Craig, they're watching, and they've gone, I could listen to you all week, all day. He's brilliant. But when you go and meet someone like Craig, and there are a couple of other managers as well, all they've got is football stories. All they talk about is football. Well, I know he loves his wine and things like that, and I can't wait to share a decent glass with you as well, which hopefully Dean's bought you a vintage bottle. But he's infectious. You know, and that is the obsession, and that is why he's so successful. And you know, Dean, you've even said it, the Ford stories and whatever. But everything that he says, people are glued to him because it is all football.
Yeah, and I think that comes with experience. It comes with success. You want to listen to them kind of people, don't you? They've been there, done it, and they've been successful. So, again, I just sit back and listen to Craig, what he wants to do with the squad, and the man he's like having a full-time manager. I speak to him every other day. If we've not got a game, we've got a friendly. We must have had more friendlies than probably cup games this season. He's talking to players. He's talking to agents. We've got 20, 30 lads coming in training. It's just non-stop. I mean, we play on a Tuesday night. Then he fields a team to play on a Wednesday afternoon at Southend. And I don't know any other guy who does that, and that's why he is so successful. He's got a brilliant wife, Lynn, who supports him, which is I think vitally important, because she has to put up with everything all day, every day. So yeah, he's
mad on the football stories.
To be fair, Craig, we could have her on for 2 shows as it goes, because she could tell us stories about what you're like when you've got home after you've won a few games.
Oh, she's brilliant with that.
Oh God, she's one of the ultras there. Yeah. She gets behind the goal, she goes like a lunatic.
You got her a drum.
Yeah, she's jumping about because all the videos come for us. I said, what are you doing? Yeah, she loves it.
But Dean, one last question before we go, and it's an important question, I suppose, for the club. I mean, are you hoping now then that Cheshunt Council get behind you, or Hertfordshire Council get behind you now with this success to give you what you need to get that new better part of your ground sorted?
Yeah, no, I think we've done our bit. We've got a plan of permission, we've got a promotion. We just want to take the town with us, and we do so much in the community. Like Craig mentioned, that it's not just the players and supporters, but we've got the women's side, the inclusive teams, the walking football teams. The club is huge, and we now need the facilities to match what we're doing on the pitch. So we've had conversations, we've had local elections last week, and we're on the case. And I'm hopeful that we can deliver that in the next 2 to 3 years.
So, in no disrespect, automatic promotion, and I reckon you get that, going to the National League next year and the year after next, and you'll get that planning permission. Let me tell you.
I'll be building a statue of Craig, that's for sure. I'll need planning permission for a bronze statue of Craig.
But listen, guys, it's been a fantastic hour or so, and it really has been a pleasure to have your company, Harry. Absolutely superb. Thank you, sir. Wish you all the very, very best with Seven Oaks, and send all of our love and that to Paul as well. Fantastic guy. And also, of course, to Craig and to Dean. Of course, we'll keep in touch with you guys as well, because what's happened this year is an absolute fairy story, and it's absolutely fantastic for you guys where you are. I mean, it's one thing that I'll say before saying my thanks to Keith. A massive thank you to Paul Lansdale from Reposs for his sponsorship of the show. We know he's been a little bit unwell this season as well, so we send all of our regards to him out in sunny Barcelona, where he is at the present minute in time. But we do wish him and his company all the very, very best. We thank everybody for watching this series of the D&K show, and we'll be back in July. But of course, a massive thank you as well to the legend that is Mr. Keith McMahon. Hopefully, by the time we start back again, some chairman out there with any clue of football will have him in as their manager, and he'll be there. And of course, also as well, another thank you is also to Ali as well, who of course has stepped in a few times for Keith this year, and unfortunately couldn't make it tonight. She got a better offer. The Dons, the SC Dons, have actually given her an invitation to go to some club called West Ham's presentation evening tonight. So she's actually at West Ham's presentation evening tonight. But a massive thank you to Ali for stepping in. But a massive thank you for everybody watching, especially to the likes of Craig and Dean and Harry, and of course to Keith. We'll be back when we find out, of course, where everybody's going to be. And hopefully I'll have some good stories to tell you about something that's going to happen coming up in the early parts of June as well, regarding myself. But until then, we'll speak soon, and we'll be back for the new season with me and Keith. But until then, good night.